Why take FPL advice from one expert when you can take advice from 100 of them? Welcome to FPL Mate, my name is Dan and there's a big transfer shift ahead of Game Week 23 that might just involve some of those Liverpool players. Okay, so this week I once again surveyed 100 top FPL managers to see what they're up to this week, who they are captaining, who they are transferring in and out. We're going to get loads of information today, guys, much more information than in the last couple of episodes because there's a lot more transfers happening, as we'll soon see. So massive shout out to the 100 experts that you see on screen today. We do have two special guests again in our 100 experts. The current #1 in the world, Northern FPL, has contributed their data for this game week, as has the #7 in the world, whose name is Jack. So thank you to those guys and everyone else, all of our regular contributors. We're going to see what these guys are up to, and like I said, it's all about Liverpool. So to give an overview, 55% of our experts are making a transfer this week, or one transfer this week, with a further 18% making 2 transfers. Although we do see 5% making 3 transfers this week as well. So as opposed to last week and the week before, where the majority of our experts were choosing to roll the transfers, this week, most of them are making a transfer, start to spend really those transfers that have been saved over the last couple of game weeks. And I think with double game weeks coming up and blank game weeks too, we are going to see more transfers being spent in the near future. So 22% of our experts not making a transfer this week. So that is still a significant number, though we see none making a use of their wildcard chip this week. So lots of transfers being made. Let's go into more detail. So as always, we're going to have a look at the global top picks. Who are the overall FPL player base bringing into the FPL team for Game Week 23? And this is a interesting week because I love it when this happens. So we're seeing a week where there's lots of transfers being made by the experts, and yet there is a clear disconnect in the favoured transfers among experts compared to the overall player base. And you can see here there is not really too many players that are popular overall that are also popular with our experts. In fact, only Trent Alexander-Arnold and Cody Gakpo have significant interest among our experts this week, with all of the other players seeing minimal transfers at best. And Mateta is that player with minimal transfers in as well. Everyone else, there is practically no interest in transferring in these players, and some are even being transferred out. Chris Wood, for example, 2 of our experts are actually removing him this week, with 1 bringing him in. So his trend is actually going down, even though the overall player base are massively bringing him in. The same can be said about Phil Foden, with 2 transfers out for him as well. And yet, the overall player base are bringing him in. So we're seeing the experts go in a different direction to the overall player base. Cliver, massively popular this week after his big haul, but none of our experts owned Cliver last week. None of them are bringing him in this week. There's going to be a continuation of 0% ownership of Cliver among our FPL experts, despite how incredibly popular he is as a transfer this week. Our experts just do not knee-jerk in players, and we know Bournemouth have tough fixtures against Forest and Liverpool next, so no interest there at all. Same can be said about Hall, minimal change there. Aina, Ahmad, and a lot of people own Isak already, to be fair. 100% of our experts have Isak in their team already. So yes, indeed, not too many changes for many of these players. So who are our experts actually transferring in and out? Well, let's start off with out, because we have a huge trend this week. Nicholas Jackson previously was in that expert template team, and that is going to be no more, as 36 of our experts are removing him, meaning that there's going to be very few top managers who still have Nicholas Jackson in their FPL team ahead of this game against Manchester City. So fair warning, Nicholas Jackson owners, if you do still have him in your team, our experts are heavily recommending to transfer him out this week. 36 transfers out is no joke, all within one game week. Now, we have seen Jackson slowly drop off in recent weeks in expert ownership anyway, so he's going to continue to drop and drop if this trend is to be believed. Also, we're seeing a lot of sales for Joao Pedro. He's been another player on a consistent downward trend among experts. Gvardiol is also seeing some transfers out, as is Gabriel. 5 transfers out for him, but given that 72 62% of our experts owned him previously. Just 5 transfers out is not too significant. The vast majority of experts will be keeping Gabriel in their FPL teams, but it's still interesting to see that he is being transferred out. And I'm going to explain why that is happening very, very shortly. Sanchez is also in here. Rare to see multiple goalkeepers in this list. Sanchez and Raya are being removed by experts, as are Haaland, Sarr, Robinson, and Diogo Jota, with few transfers out for each of these players, particularly Sarr and Robinson. In the grand scheme of things, how many of our experts own these players? Very few of them are actually removing them from their FPL teams. And Robinson, we're going to explain shortly, is being transferred out for similar reasons to Gabriel, and it's not because these guys are bad picks, it's not because they're bad players, and most of our experts will be keeping them, but they have become maybe fall guys in many ways, players that maybe have to be sold depending on what your team looks like to accommodate a certain man. And before we have a look at that certain man and many other men, please do make sure you do drop a like on the video. Massively appreciated if you do enjoy these 100 experts videos. They do take a little while to put together, and I appreciate all the support. And do of course subscribe if you want to follow along with the expert moves every single game week. So here we go, the transfers in for game week 23, and 36 transfers out for Jackson, but even more transfers in for Cody Gakpo. 43 transfers in. He was only owned by 10% of experts last week, so this is an enormous change from last game week, and it seems that the third Liverpool player of choice for FPL experts is going to be Cody Gakpo, and he's going to be owned by over half of our experts going into game week 23. We could see that go even higher when we get to double game week 24 for Liverpool. Of course, Gakpo was rested in the Champions League this week, which I think is good news for his minutes. So if you're looking for a new forward this week, well, our experts seem to all agree that Cody Gakpo is the favoured guy, the guy you are most likely to go for. But we mentioned that players like Gabriel and Robinson are being sold, and that's because of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Of course, not all of our experts owned Trent Alexander-Arnold previously, and those who didn't are looking for creative solutions to try and get him in. Now, if you've got someone like Gvardiol or Saliba in your team, that's going to be pretty easy to move that player to Trent. But if your defense generally looks pretty good and you need to just find a way to get Trent in your team, then maybe players like Gabriel, players like Robinson might need to be sacrificed. So if you already have Trent, no problem, don't need to sell Gabriel and Robinson. If you have another player to sell for Trent, then you're going to be fine as well. But we did see this week when I was combing through the data that a lot of the experts who don't have Trent and did have Gabriel and Robinson were choosing to move these players on for Trent out of necessity. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't want anyone to think that suddenly Robinson and Gabriel are bad FPL picks. I don't think anyone thinks that. But sometimes, depending on your unique FPL situation, you are going to have to make certain sacrifices to get the best players in. And we know Trent is one of the best players in FPL and certainly considers near essential for game week 24's double, and maybe even for game week 23 against Ipswich as well. But after that, there are some non-Liverpool players on this list. The Brentford duo of Wissa and Mbeumo are also showing a fair amount of interest here. They are playing Crystal Palace away next, which isn't the perfect fixture, but after that, Brentford really do have some fantastic fixtures. So 8 transfers in for the cheap forward Wissa, and 7 transfers in for the slightly more expensive midfielder Mbeumo. And then we've got some more Liverpool players. Alisson, 6 transfers in for him. Everton, with their double game week in game week 24, are experts trying to get ahead of the game a little bit here. 4 transfers in for Mikalenko, 4 for Pickford, 3 for Mateta, and finally Luis Diaz and Virgil van Dijk with 2 transfers in each. So half of this list is Liverpool players. We've got another 2 Everton players. So it's mostly about the double game week guys and also Brentford guys with a very small sprinkling of Crystal Palace in there as well. So those are the most popular transfers in. What does that mean for the expert template? Well, it means we have a new addition to the template. But first of all, let me tell you guys that the average Game Week 22 score for our experts was 50.2 points. So let me know, guys, did you score better or worse than the experts in Game Week 22? Can you beat 50 points? If so, fantastic. Well done. Congratulations. But it was green arrows generally for the experts, with the average rank mean up to 312k and the medium rank up to 209k. So green arrows on both of those different types of average ranks that we use when having a look at our experts at the moment. So there you go, guys. Experts getting green arrows, which is good to see from them. Well done to them, and well done to any of you guys who are beating the experts right now. Hopefully you guys can keep it up with the help of these videos. So with all that said, let's have a look at the template. So no change on Fabianski, small drop for Raya, 3% down. Trent Alexander-Arnold has a big boost all the way up to 80% ownership now. So he is nearing that essential category of player in FPL. So make sure you guys are looking to get him in your team. Gabriel and Robinson with small drops. No change for Munoz, and only a small change for Hall as well. He's up to 44% as the 5th most popular defender among our experts. Salah is still at 100%, although strangely we did see one of our experts actually sell Palmer this week. Not something I expected to see, but everyone has their own strategy. He's still down. He's still at 99% ownership, so yeah, that's still pretty high, I suppose. Rodgers and Gordon seeing a 1% increase, and Ismail Assar dropping off a little bit. Could we soon see a new 5th midfielder, a new 5th template midfielder in the expert squads fairly soon? I think there is a good chance that that might happen. I'm looking at you, Brian and Burmo. Can you break this 5-man midfield and switch up the template a little bit? But the only change in the template is in the forward category. Isak's still here. Wood was a new introduction over the last couple of game weeks, and now Cody Gakpo has taken up that 3rd spot. He was just 10% owned last game week, and now he's all the way up to 53%. So more than half, like I say, of our experts will have Cody Gakpo in Game Week 23, and I have a sneaking suspicion that we may see even more in Game Week 24. So if you guys were wondering which 3 Liverpool players should you own, according to our experts, the consensus is Salah as your first priority, then Trent Alexander-Arnold, and your 3rd man is Cody Gakpo. But not everyone's going for Gakpo. Some are going for Alisson, some Luis Diaz, some Van Dijk, some even Konate. So it's not clear-cut, but there's a strong trend here, and that's what it's all about. That's what these videos are all about, finding those trends to make suggestions for you guys to use for your own FPL teams. But let's suggest some transfers for you guys. So here are some combo transfer suggestions based on our data, and I'm going to give you a rough guide because I don't think it has to necessarily be these exact players. But if you're making a combo transfer, one of the reasons for doing that might be to free up some money in order to buy Trent Alexander-Arnold if you don't have him already. So if you do have Jackson, you can use him as a cash cow and downgrade him to a Wissa. That will allow you to upgrade someone like Gavardio, or maybe someone even cheaper, up to a Trent. We've also got a suggestion of Jackson and Robinson to Wissa and Trent, but Robinson doesn't have to be Robinson. If you've got another defender in your squad that you would rather sell, and hopefully you do, then that could be another route to get Trent in your team. And my final combo transfer suggestions based on our data is taking someone like Gavardio down to a Mikalenko, freeing up the budget to upgrade perhaps a Joao Pedro to Cody Gakpo. That could work as well. Of course, if you've got any other expensive defenders that you would be willing to sacrifice in order to get Gakpo into your team, then maybe that could work for you as well. For those direct transfers, this is a little bit more straightforward. If you've got Jackson, moving him to Gakpo makes so much sense. So if you hate Jackson and you love Gakpo, just do it. One transfer, nice and simple, and even save yourself a little bit of money there as well. If you can afford to go Joao Pedro direct to Gakpo, then that's definitely going to be an option as well for certain people. But if not, maybe Joao Pedro to Wissa could be a worthwhile transfer. Gvardiol or Gabriel straight to a Trent, if you do have money in the bank, could work. And it's very rare that we suggest a goalkeeper transfer because it's very rare that our experts make a significant amount of goalkeeper transfers. But how about Sanchez of Chelsea over to Alisson Becker of Liverpool? That could be a nice little move for you guys to make as well. Of course, if you guys have any questions relating to transfers, I'll be happy to answer them in the comment section. So leave a comment about what transfer you're thinking about making. I'm more than happy to give my opinion, but the video itself is going to be mostly about what the experts are doing, not so much about me. So let's continue on, and we need to talk about captains. So I wish this weren't the case, but we are back to boring season. I really hoped we might see some more people captaining Isak or maybe Palmer this week or whoever else, but sadly we've got 94% of our experts captaining Salah at home against Ipswich. I really thought we might see Isak with a few more captain's armbands on him, but it is not the case. 3% of our experts will be captaining Isak away against Southampton. We also have 2% captaining Gakpo at home against Ipswich, which is quite interesting. If you have Salah, I'm not sure why you wouldn't just go there, but if you do want to play the differential game, and certainly we make sure we use a mix of different kind of play styles of experts within our data, and there will be some of our experts who are more keen to go a little bit different, try something new, try something different. But because there's no strong trends here with Cody Gakpo, we can't really recommend it as part of this video. But just to complete the 100%, one of our experts is also captaining De Bruyne, who has a good record against Chelsea. It's a home fixture as well. De Bruyne has actually been putting up some decent FPL points recently, going under the radar. So I kind of understand it to a degree, but let's be totally honest, guys. This week, it's all about Salah. I wish it weren't so. I wish we could talk more about Isak as a serious contender, but our experts are not as keen on Isak as I thought they would be. 94% on Salah. And by the way, guys, I know some people have asked about the triple captain this week. None of our experts are using the triple captain in Game Week 23, although I have a sneaking suspicion that we might see a few triple captains come out in Game Week 24. So watch this space. We will have a look at that in the next episode of the 100 experts. But anyway, guys, like I say, let me know if you have any transfer related questions for this week, whether it's about Liverpool players or maybe someone else. And of course, let me know if you are beating the experts. Did you beat 50 points in Game Week 22? And what is your overall rank right now? Are you beating or losing to the experts? Love to hear from you guys as always. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you do drop a like. Do subscribe if you're new around here as well. I'll be back tomorrow for a team selection video. But whilst you wait for that, why not check out Buy, Sell, Keep, Avoid, which was uploaded yesterday. But aside from that, guys, thanks so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.